What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties, but I think we are up and running right now. So, sorry if it's looking kind of weird. I'm gonna have OBS kind of in the corner so I can kind of see the visuals and stuff. So, yeah, what's going on, guys? It's Sunday night, and we are trading the Sunday Open. Um, so I'm on a. So I want to do a quick recap. I had. So as you guys know from my video yesterday, I just kind of talked and ranted about my past few weeks and how before that I was doing fairly well. But the most recent 2-3 weeks have been kind of rough. My fault, of course. It's always going to be our fault. It's never going to be anybody else's fault. We have to take responsibility for our own trading and for our own decisions in this business. But I did end up passing two my funded futures evals. So I currently have a funded account. I have two my funded futures funded accounts right now. They're core accounts, 50Ks. And I'm trading one right now. I think I'm just going to take my time. I had taken a trade on the open today, and was already down like, $200. So really going to take it easy. Actually, sorry, not 200. Ended up down roughly 450, 500. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell too much on my losses. I know what I did wrong, and I wasn't patient. It was just the excitement of wanting to trade when the market's open. So that's something I'm still trying to work on, and something that I'm still trying to get down and, prevent from happening, because I do enjoy trading a lot. It does excite me to trade. And so but that's not an excuse for me to overtrade and to oversize and yada yada. So yeah, and then I had 2 trade days that are no longer with me, so rip to those. And yeah. So on the open, we gapped up higher very aggressively. So I'm gonna take you guys down here. This is the close from Friday. I'm on the 15-minute chart, trading MES. So we closed right around 68.25, and then as we opened today on Sunday, we gapped up all the way up here. So we opened at around 68.75. Okay, major bullish strength. Major. I don't know what happened this weekend. I don't know if there's any bullish headlines or what, but we opened up with some significant strength. And because we opened with strength, the idea would be to wait, number one, be patient, and wait for a pullback, and try to get in long on the pullback of this insane move. Now, we did get a pullback. It wasn't much of a pullback, but we did get a pullback down to 68.68, which are these two pink lines that I have right here. And we got a massive, I wouldn't say massive, but we got a pretty decent failed breakdown off of it. Failed broke 68, and it got to 75 first level up, where I shaved off 7 contracts. Well, initially I got in 10 contracts at around 70, shaved off 7 at 75, and then held a 3 contract runner up until 80, at which point I re-added 7 contracts, bringing my position back up to full size, which is 10 contract size on this account in particular. And now just sitting in the 10 contract new position, we'll shave off another 7 at 85, and then if we continue going higher, I'll shave off another 2 off of my 3 runner that I will have if 85 gets hit. So that's basically it for my trading this evening. The losing trades that I had were just kind of, like I said, very excitement, FOMO-driven trades. I had taken a couple longs around here that back tested 75 and ended up reversing. At one point, I even tried to short because I thought we were going to break the structure down. But of course, after I got through those and I came to my senses, and I'm like, David, you're not trading correctly. I got out of all those losing trades. I sat on my hands, and I finally just waited until we got the failed breakdown of 68 right here. And then once we reclaimed 70, that's when I got in, and that was the actual winning trade. So I got in 10 contracts here, like I said, took off 7 at 75, and then just as I explained. So it's very important to stick to your plan in trading. Like I can't emphasize this enough, to be honest with you. Taking your plan in trading is everything. You can't trade, and it doesn't even matter if you have a bias. You can have a bias, but if you're trading without some sort of guidelines, without some sort of rules, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle a lot, and it's evident by my performance. Like I struggled, and I still struggle. If I don't have a plan and I don't stick to it, trading will be very, very difficult. Okay. This is different. You can't really just make it up as you go. You can do that with a lot of things in life. You can, the quote, fake it till you make it. You can't do that with trading. You can't fake it till you make it in trading. You either know what you're doing or you don't. And if you don't know what you're doing, you better sit out until you can figure out what it is you're doing, or paper trade until you can figure out what it is you're doing exactly. So highly emphasize, please have a trading plan. Please know what levels, areas you're willing to engage. If your system doesn't use levels, I would highly recommend it. But if your system doesn't use levels, then just go with whatever your system or your strategy tells you to use. I know a lot of people use MAs, moving averages. Make sure you are very diligent with paying attention to your moving averages if that's what you use as levels, and just go from there. Don't try to make it up as you go, because the market will humble you and it will teach you a lesson. I guarantee it. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that, guys. So that's a trade for tonight. As you can see, it's playing out, but it's only playing out because I followed my rules. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are having a good trade day or a good trading week. It's a new week. We have FOMC on Wednesday, so be careful with that. But yeah. The other thing I did want to talk about real quick with trading is that, and this goes especially for newer traders, don't think that there's going to be any one size fits all system. Don't think that there's going to be like a magical indicator or a magical technique or concept that you're still searching for or waiting to learn that's going to help you figure out the market or get good at the market all of a sudden, or automatically know what you're doing and it clicks for you. Okay, I want to tell you that does not exist, unfortunately. If you're a brand new trader and you are looking for a Hail Mary system, if you're looking for a secret indicator or a secret strategy or concept that's going to help you make money in the market, let me be the first to burst your bubble to tell you that does not exist. Okay? And a lot of people, especially on YouTube, and especially targeted for new traders. This is literally specifically for newer traders, people just getting into the market, maybe people that have been doing it for a few months, whatever the case is. But I would highly tailor this to very new, fresh, green traders. Please don't buy anything from YouTubers. Don't buy anything from any guru or anybody that is proclaiming to know anything about the market, proclaiming that they have this great strategy, proclaiming that they have this great software or this algorithm or this bot or a journal or anything. Please don't fall for it. Please don't fall for it. The only money I ever spent with learning how to trade is in my live trading accounts. The money that I spent to learn how to trade was the money I used to trade directly in the market. That's it. I never bought any courses, and Corey the Phone Trader is very similar to me. Shout out to you, Corey. And also thank you for motivating me to post more. So hopefully this works, or hopefully this is enough. I know I need to be more consistent, but I appreciate you, bro. And thank you for praying for me. You're a real guys. Go check out his channel. Sorry, just real quick plug. If you guys don't know yet, go check out Corey the Phone Trader. Amazing guy, great trader. All in all, positive, great attitude. Highly recommend. So go check him out if you haven't already. And that's Corey the Phone Trader. But anyway, what I was saying is all the money that I've spent to learn trading or trade has been my money directly in my live trading accounts to trade with. I never paid for courses, and the reason I bring up Corey the Phone Trader is because he's the same way. He never paid for courses, never paid for anything aside from actually using the money to trade. I never paid for courses, never paid for signal service, to be fair, the only thing I do pay for is a $23 a month newsletter that I subscribe to by a trader of the name Adam Mancini, who one of my friends at work introduced me to get started. And honestly, he is probably, if not one of the most transparent, best traders I've had the pleasure in working with. Because he doesn't gatekeep. He breaks everything down. His newsletters are massive and they're very wordy, very time consuming to read if you've ever read one of his newsletters. But they're truth. They're all it's all gospel truth. And it will help you if you stick to the process. If maybe you're a newsletter subscriber, and I'm not saying you should hop on his newsletter, but all I'm saying is that's what I used as far as paying for any education. That's the only thing I've ever paid for trading education wise, and let me tell you, it has paid for itself 1,000 times over. I have paid for that newsletter for the next 50 years, okay? Literally. Maybe not 50 years, maybe 5 or 10 years, whatever, but it's paid for itself at this point. And it's very clear cut, very transparent, lot of good content in there. Highly recommend. But the point that I'm trying to make, and he doesn't even tout that his system is great or amazing or whatever. He simply is saying he's been doing this for 10 years. He knows how the market's like, and he sets out clear instructions and guidelines for how to navigate the market conditions. That's literally it. He doesn't make these he doesn't make these extravagant promises. He doesn't say you're going to master this overnight, you're going to make so much money. He doesn't flash Lambos, nothing. He's a real trader that is telling you how it is, real time, telling you, listen, a lot of people are going to fail because of these issues, because of FOMO, greed, over trading, blah, 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 blah. And he gives you a clear-cut system. Wait for the setup. Take the setup, take it level to level, hold a runner, trail the stop, done. You don't need to do anything else. If at any point you veer off of any one of these rules or guidelines, you're going to get smoked, okay? And he's not shy about saying that. Here's the plan. Follow the plan. You don't follow the plan, you're going to get smoked. Easy, one and done, okay? So that's what I really like about him. That's why I really respect him. And a lot of the people on YouTube, they don't do that. They are really flashy. They make you these big, extravagant promises that don't even make sense. They say, hey, subscribe to my signal service and you'll get my signals and I'll teach you how to navigate the market. And while maybe some of them can, here and there, every now and then, a person is wrong at least, a broken clock is wrong at least twice a day, just because of the broken clock effect. But yeah, these guys are bound to be right eventually, but that's not the norm for them. They are not there to help you learn trading. They are honestly there to just collect money from you. That's the honest truth. And I'm sorry if you get upset by that, but I'm trying to paint you the truth here, because that's how it is. That's how this industry is, unfortunately. This industry is designed to take money, and that's true in actual trading as well. This system, this industry is designed to take money from those less experienced and impatient to the ones that are more experienced and more patient. Okay? That's the truth. That's what this industry does. It's a wealth extractor from those that are impatient and inexperienced to those more patient, more experienced. Okay? So with that, don't pay for courses, don't pay for signal services, none of that. And just learn how to trade. Just figure out what works for you. Go through a few strategies, watch YouTube videos. Everything you need to learn about trading is all free online. Guarantee it. And Corey, the phone trader, will tell you the same thing. Everything that you would need to know about the markets is available to you for free online. Okay? And the reason more people are not successful, given that, you could say, well, David, if everything's for free online, if all the education is for free online, how come everybody isn't rich? How come everybody isn't trading and, doing so well for themselves? It's because education is one part of it, and then you have psychology, which a lot of people would say it's BS and blah blah blah, but it's not. You have your education part, the literally the nuts and bolts of what trading is and how it's done and all that stuff, and then you have the other part, which is how to actually implement all that stuff that you learned. Okay, it's one thing to know what it is, and it's another thing to actually go through and implement the knowledge that you have. Okay, a lot of people go through the first phase of learning the mechanics and learning the nuts and bolts of trading and the market and all that stuff, but very rarely are people actually able to put into practice the stuff that they actually learned. Okay, so you got your learning of the market, the nuts and bolts, and actually putting that into practice, two completely different things. Okay, and that's why a lot of people fail, because they don't actually put into practice what they've learned. Okay, it's conceptual, but they haven't yet practiced it. And what am I talking about? How do you practice it? Just by everything that I just mentioned. You have your strategy. Okay, you learn the strategy, know the strategy in and out. Learn to spot the setups of your strategy. Learn to take the trade when your setup appears. Learn to manage the trade while you're in it. So you have a strategy, you've identified the setup, you've taken the trade based on the setup being available, and now that you're in the trade, you manage it appropriately. And that could be, and that's really just risk management, okay? Managing the trade is literally just managing your risk. How much are you willing to lose if you're wrong? And where are you willing to get out if you're right? Okay? So I'm willing to risk, for example, on these trading accounts, it may say it's a $50K account, but really you've only got $2,000 in drawdown. So really what you have is a $2,000 account, okay? Rule of thumb is you don't risk any more than 1% to 2%. Some really good traders say they risk less than 1%, 0.5%. But for the purposes of this example, we'll just risk exactly 1%. So 1% of a $2,000 account is $20. So you're risking $20 on each and every trade. So if you're trading micros, one contract is 4 points, okay? So on every trade that you take with one contract, your stop loss is going to be 4 points, okay? And you can't go above that. You can go below that, so you could do 3 points or 2 points, but you cannot go to 5 points because your risk is fixed at 20. If you want to take 2 contracts, then instead of 4-point stop, your stop is not going to be a 2-point stop. You're making sure you're adjusting for your risk first before you even get into the trade. Before you get into the trade, you're telling yourself, what is my risk? And you're basing your stop loss based on your risk, not the other way around. Okay? If you don't know how much you're willing to risk before you get into the trade, then you've already messed up. You should know how much you're willing to trade before you even conceive of taking the trade. Okay? So 1 contract, 4 points, 2 contracts, 2 points. Okay? On this account, I'm willing to risk a little bit more, hence why you see 10 contracts on there. Again, I'm willing to risk a little bit more. I'm willing to risk like $100 to $200, which is essentially 10%. I'm okay with that because I'm not planning on taking a lot of trades. Your max risk per day should not be more than 5%, I believe. 5 to 10%. So with me, like, one trade for me could be the whole daily risk, which is fine. That means I would, after one losing trade, I am done for the day. Okay? And that's okay. That's what I'm willing. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to risk that. You can do whatever you want as long as you're aware of the risk and you're willing to take the risk, okay? Most people are not willing to take the risk. Most people, not only are they not willing to take the risk, but most people don't even know how much they're willing to risk, okay? Some people would say, oh yeah, I'm willing to risk 1%. Oh yeah, I'm willing to risk 0.5 or 3 or whatever. But when it comes down to it, when the time comes for when the trade does go against you, all that stuff goes out the window. The rules, everything that you learned, everything that you said you're gonna work on, your risk management, it all goes out the window. All you're focused on now is holding and hoping that the trade is gonna go in your direction and that you don't incur more red. That's the reality, okay? Especially if you're new, you guys need to listen to this. Like, if you don't sit down with yourself and say, okay, for real, this is how much I'm willing to risk on every single trade. I'm not gonna go past this. And then you're just giving lip service, and then you go trade, and then the trade goes against you. Now you're in degen mode. Now, like, you're holding and you're hoping it goes in your direction because it's gone against you. Maybe you add because you're like, oh, let me just add and get my cost basis down, and then when it does go in my direction, I'll have made this much more profit. That is a surefire way to blow everything you have. And I'm being serious. Because this is experience talking. This is not me just pulling stuff out of my backside, my behind. Okay? This is for real, okay? You have to, everything needs to be worked around your risk. Everything. You work everything around your risk, how much you're willing to lose. Okay? Like, people say, like, a lot of people would say, oh, like, my life works around my work schedule or whatever. Well, your trading life should work around your risk, how much you're willing to risk. Okay? Because if it's not, you're going to be in for a rude awakening and you're going to lose everything. Okay? Everything. You have to trust me on this, okay? And unfortunately for a lot of people, it's not enough for someone to tell them what to do or to tell them and to, educate them on these dangers of risk management or not managing your risk. A lot of people have to actually experience going through what I'm talking about, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Like, me personally, I had to go through it. I go through it sometimes. I had to go through it because that's the only way that I would learn, me personally. Some people learn by hearing other people's mistakes and not repeating those mistakes because they've already heard that, okay, if I do this, and this is the potential outcome, okay? So risk management is everything. Just, if you take anything from this video, and I'm sure I've talked about it before, but it's very important. There's a reason traders, a lot of really good, seasoned professional traders emphasize risk so much, because that's all that matters in trading. Honestly, that's really all that matters, because if you can survive, if you can look at trading, forget about even thriving and making money, just if you can focus on survival, you are that much closer to being consistently profitable and that much closer to being a successful trader, okay? If you're new, your aim should not even be on making profit, being profitable, being like thriving in this market. No, your goal should just be survive, literally. If that means making $20 a day, if you have a $20 risk, then if you're targeting a 2-to-1, then $40. So if you're making like $40 a day consistently and you're surviving, you're doing much better than 95%, probably 99% of traders out there, including myself, possibly. Okay? If you can just make $40 a day consistently, on average, daily, you take one trade, you have a 2-to-1 risk reward, risking 20 to make 40. You could do that on a daily basis. You're good. You're golden. You have survived. Okay. That's basically all it is. That's really all it is knowing how much you're willing to risk and being able to implement that on every trade and not diverting from it no matter what. Okay. Because the moment you divert from it, you're going to get smoked. Okay. So I've talked a lot. Really sorry about that. But as you can see, trades working out. I don't have a stop. I probably should put a stop. I did have a stop, and then price came, and I took it out because I didn't want to get stopped out. Again, this is not something you guys should do. I know it's kind of hypocritical for me to talk about risk management and all this stuff, and I'm doing the complete opposite. But again, I've been doing this for so long that I'm comfortable doing that. Some of my trades are discretionary. If the market does get down to my break even or even past it, I'm fully capable of cutting it before it gets worse. Okay? A lot of people are not. So that's one thing that I will say. That's why I took my stop out, because I don't want to get stopped out right there and then have the market go back up, because it happens all the time. That's literally a method for the big institutions to get their orders in. So for me, I am 100% okay market going to my break even and even going below my break even. But I'm comfortable enough to where if I am red on this position, like I said, if I hit that $100, $200 negative area, I have no problem cutting it. Okay? I've been through this so many times that I'm actually comfortable with it to cut a trade in the red, okay? And even still having it go back up. That's me. So until you can get to that state, you should be using a hard stop, in my opinion, my humble opinion. If you are unable to cut a trade when it's gone against you and it's in the red, you should be using hard stops, physical stops, and let the market take you out without you having to make any decisions, okay? Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to limit as many decisions that we have to make, because the more decisions we make, the more errors we're prone to making. So I feel comfortable putting a stop now. But again, if it gets close to my break even, I'll just do the same thing. I'll just take my stop out, and if it goes red against me, I have no problems cutting the trade immediately. Okay? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this therapy session and the trade. I'll give you an update as to whether it worked out or whether I got stopped out for a loss or not. But for now, have a good weekend, or rest of your weekend, and have a good trading week. Catch you guys later. Peace.